Keegan, and this is your podcast for all mental health, addiction, recovery issues, and topics. And today we have a very special guest. His name is Julian Bermudez, a psychedelic trauma coach. Sorry, he doesn't actually coach people in psychedelic trauma. That'd be weird. He is a psychedelic integration coach that helps people transform suffering into self trust, agency, and inner liberation through tools like self inquiry and reflection, stillness, and especially psychedelic integration. His work invites people to rebuild their inner relationships with honesty, gentleness, and joy. The result is a greater capacity for awareness, choice, and ultimate liberation from old patterns. So, Julian, how are you doing today?
Fantastic, Keegan. Thank you for having me.
All right, good to hear. Let's see. We actually just had a failure of recording on your end.
This has popped up on me in Riverside almost every
Hmm,
time, but
really?
it does record even if that camera is disconnected. Maybe it's because I'm using an external camera rather than just the
It could be.
internal.
Yeah.
So it blocks you out a little bit, but I can still kind of see you. So
Oh, gotcha.
I'm okay
Okay.
with it if you are.
Yeah, yeah, totally fine. I was just like, I would hate to do a whole episode and then go back and be like, oh, it's just me talking to thin air for an hour.
Yeah.
um, anyways, so now that we have the technical difficulties situated, Julian, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you came into the wonderful world of psychedelic integration?
hmm So you want to hear just a little bit about my history in a nutshell?
Oh man, you can lay it all down however you want to feel. This is your episode, and this is all about how you got to where you're at and what you
Mhm.
do for other people, right?
Sure, sure. Well, I was born in Detroit, Michigan,
Okay.
1987. Had two young parents. My dad was 19, my mom was 21,
Hmm.
and they came from very different ethnicities as well. My mother was, her mom moved here from Germany after the war, and my dad, his parents were Mexican and Puerto Rican, both
Hmm.
immigrated here as well.
Okay.
So growing up in a very racially segregated area,
Hmm.
in with being biracial, with parents who were very young and, needless to say, did not want me.
Hmm.
So they bounced me around throughout
Hmm.
the first 13 years of my life,
Yeah.
and it was really difficult because as I would model one parent, as children do,
Hmm.
my other family would hate me for it.
Ooh.
And as I would model that family, the other family would hate me. It was
Oh
this
man.
weird blaming or justification of why they didn't want me. It was always my fault.
Hmm.
So the message that I internalized was, I'm defective. I'm not good
Hmm.
enough. I'm not worthy of love or connection. There's something wrong with me. Um, and this was the source of just tremendous pain.
Hmm.
And when I got on my own when I was about 13, 14 years old, and focused just extensively on survival into my early
Hmm.
20s, I started really thinking about things when I was about maybe 21, 22 years old.
Uh-huh.
And this pain that I was carrying around had just gotten so great that I just wasn't going to be able to keep living anymore.
Hmm.
I was either going to end up dead or in prison or
Mm.
perhaps both, which was exactly what was happening around me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I decided to change everything in my life at that point, and I
Okay.
started looking into addictions
Mm.
for myself, of course,
Uh-huh.
and because I wanted to help all the people that were around me because the
Mm.
addictions were just so common. So I
Yeah.
started studying addictions, and I went to university, which was very challenging for me, but I made it.
Hmm.
And while I was there, I wasn't very satisfied with the
Hmm.
answers that I was getting from about addictions, considering my own personal lived experiences and all the people that I knew who were growing up with addictions.
Hmm.
So I started doing a lot of independent study,
Hmm.
and I found some really incredible teachers along the way who were doing this line of healing and therapy. And once I started figuring these things out and understanding what they were doing, they
Hmm.
started to actually have answers and
Uh,
an understanding of what an addiction is, how
mhm,
it manifests, what are the causes, why is it here, and what can we do with it.
mhm,
And when I started finding that, everything just started to click for me, because instead of being just a victim who's at
Mhm.
the whim of some genetic disease, or is just a poor person who's making poor decisions, for instance, now there was an actual understanding. And so
Mm.
I dedicated myself to this field of study for about 10 years.
Uh-huh.
And
Wow.
about 7 or 8 years into it, I started experimenting with the psychedelic experience myself.
Okay.
And once I did that, I mean, it was very, very challenging. Reading about it, listening to it, having people talk about it was one thing, but then
Mhm.
doing it yourself, something completely different.
Oh yeah.
And the more I did it, not the psychedelic experience, but the more I worked on myself, the more I
Mhm.
applied these therapy techniques on myself, the more it started to click, and the more that I started to transform my own pain and heal my own suffering, the
Uh-huh.
more that other people started coming to me to do the same thing as well. And
Oh.
so, in a few minute nutshell, that's how I got to where I am.
Oh man. That is well, first of all, I gotta say, like, I'm sorry that you had a rough childhood because that definitely is something that can screw someone up very easily, and also no one's fault, and that can be something that can make someone a little angry too, not having someone to blame. And it seems like you've done so much work that you don't have anyone to blame or anything because you've figured out your answers. But whenever it comes to all of everything you've done, what was the thing that kept you going forward? Because, I mean, you said you were on your own at 13, 14, correct?
That's right.
That is really young. So, I mean, how did you even make it through that?
Yeah, it's funny that you asked that, because I've thought about this a lot. And I've had a lot of people ask me this. And in fact, it was something that was very present with me yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've had different answers for different times in my life.
Yeah.
And the thing that is most present with me today is that on my dad's side of my family, his
Mm-hmm.
his mother, so my paternal grandmother, we had language barriers, cultural barriers. We never really interacted with each other very much. But before I
Mm-hmm.
moved away from Detroit, which was almost 15 years ago, I tried to connect with her a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and just to have something before I would leave.
Yeah.
And it was very challenging, but she told me very specific things.
Hmm.
One, it was very difficult to even understand what our ethnicity was, because she had so much shame around it. Um,
Oh.
she's native Mexican, and she
Mm.
was fleeing as a child with her parents ethnical persecution.
Mm.
So she would always tell me I'm American, and
Mm-hmm.
that she is too, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so right before I left, though, she told me that we came from this native lineage down there, and
Wow.
that through the generations,
Mm-hmm.
there have been healers inside our ancestral lineage,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's been passed down through the generations, despite the fact that we were incredibly disconnected from any
Mm-hmm.
of that. And she told me that that was my path. So she said this right
Mm-hmm.
before I left. It was one of the most profound things that she ever said to me, but at the
Mm-hmm.
time I didn't think much of it.
Yeah.
Um, but the more I sat on it and meditated on it, and unpacked it, and the more that I've explored this avenue, it
Mm-hmm.
seems to me like there was something inside of me that was connected with that.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think we lost him. Hmm. Giving it a few seconds because I have refreshed the page before and screwed everything else up more. Shit. Oh, oh man. No. Riverside, why? I speak about you goodly, and then you do thisly. Oh man. Um so everyone, we are experiencing technical difficulties. If you're watching on Facebook, please tell me how you managed to do that because I didn't make the Facebook stream go live. But you should be watching it on the YouTube stream. The YouTube stream should be going okay. So that and he hasn't tried to pop back in. Oh man. Um going to sit and wait. Going to sit and wait because we have a new segment coming up that's going to be really interesting. And please forgive me. I think I'm too focused on the after like segment, the new segment, the newer part. And so I have had a headache all day too. So I have been downplaying that. I should have taken some headache medicine or something sooner. Some ibuprofen. Hmm. So now I have this odd so I wait and I wait and I wait. This is the worst part about remote recording. I'm not gonna lie. The worst part about remote recording is saying, I hope everyone's technological devices work without any issue for at least an hour. And that is a tall order to ask sometimes, apparently. And it's not that much to do. It's a microphone, a camera, maybe, computer or phone. And so if you have your phone, you have the other two, and then a connection. And then that just still messes up sometimes. Like it shouldn't be that difficult. And I have issues with it. I'm not saying that like Riverside, uh the guest issues, I have had more guest issues than I've had personal issues, but I've had a lot of issues before, and then I figured everything out because I didn't want to have issues. So it's also, I don't know, it's a little bit of everything. We're going to sit here and wait and see if Julian pops back in because that was like really cool. I mean, having a family line of healers and being disconnected from your own lineage and stuff, and then falling into, and that's the thing too. Like, did she speak it into his future? Did he? And like, that's the thing. I'm left on a hook, like cliffhanger. Did he say, "Oh, we had healers in our family, and I want to"? Oh, it says there's trouble playing on my Facebook. Is my Facebook having the issue? No, is my Riverside having the issue? Um, so we're gonna, and that's the thing, like, he can pop into my studio. Hang on, we're gonna figure this out. Go on over to YouTube, see if it's doing a live stream on my channel, and if it is, look, it has me on YouTube right now, live. Okay, so Facebook is not working for some reason, but that should have absolutely no bearing on how Riverside is. And this sucks. Let's see. Okay. Do, 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 do. If anyone is still watching this, then congratulations. I don't know what award you won, but you won it. Damn. And like that's the thing. I hit refresh. I screw up all the recording stuff. But he can still enter the studio. So either it broke, his phone exploded, or he just was like, and this is a really bad host. Nah. Which I don't, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to speak badly about myself. I have had a day. So, yeah, forgive me if I have not lived up to expectations of a great toast. Sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm not. It's an everyday different thing. Going to sit and wait. While we wait, um, oh, this is sad. Ding. And see, so ah, there's this little tiny box of text up in the top left of the corner of the webcam frame that says actual recording is higher quality. And then his frame kept having it pop in and in, like it was having trouble trying to maintain a good connection. So the way Riverside works, which is another reason why I don't understand why it's doing this, is because it records locally to the computer and then uploads it to Riverside. So it's essentially relying on your own hardware to record and then push it out to the internet. I don't know why it will do this sometimes. Thankfully, it's not my setup. Otherwise, I would be having a conniption right now. Having a guest lose connection for one reason or another is something that I can live with because it's not my money of having to fix technological issues. In which that's the thing too is that like Riverside has like a list of known issue like stuff. So like if you use a Logitech webcam, it automatically will not be at the highest frame rate and resolution that it should be because it thinks it has issues. And then, like, I'm recording in 1080p, but my studio is supposed to be in 4K because I have a 4K webcam, but it won't stream in 2K. It only stream in 1080p, which I don't really mind for streaming wise because I'm not that big of a streamer. As in, no one watches the audience sometimes. So the quality isn't the worst whenever it comes to streaming. Recording, though, is an issue because this does end up on TV. So, Riverside, what are you doing? Or Julian. Um, again, he and that's the thing is that I know Riverside has issues. Simba and I had. He said his internet cut out entirely. How did you email me? Um, okay, so that's one of my things. I need to learn how to talk and type at the same time. I've never been good at that, never been good at it because either I start doing one or the other, and the other one becomes the thing that I'm doing. What was I doing? Calendly. Gonna check my Calendly. All right. Today we were in the middle of recording. Um, when am I open? Thankfully, I was able to figure something out, and I got some stuff in June. Um, all right, so Julian has lost internet connection, so he's probably emailing me through his phone, and which is like cool, awesome, glad that the communication was there. And as I was saying, I know Riverside has had issues in the past because Simba and I would be recording, and then I'd freeze, he'd freeze, we'd both freeze, but there'd not be any ice cream because he ate all mine and my gummy worms. Um, I it's too far in the past, but it's just something to bring up, and he'll be like, "You haven't forgiven me." Anyways, so we're going to go ahead and end this episode here because as much as I wanted to record the last couple of days, I didn't because reasons, s- stupid reasons, because I'm like, I don't need to live stream all the time because I don't want to annoy people. Well, and that's the thing too is that like with the podcast, oh, that's what I have to do. I just have to make another channel, a third channel. Just kidding, I already have a second channel. So whenever I feel like recording and live streaming random bullshit, I'll probably just stream on over there. And then I can always take those episodes and clip them and put them on for Retrieving Sanity. Anyways, it's my equipment, my IP. So, anyways, I got groceries to go buy. I got stuff to dolt, and Julian is not popping back on without internet. So we've got 30 minutes left, and I don't know how to record for an hour within 30 minutes just to make it fit. You know what I mean? I can't record for a whole hour within 30 minutes. You know, it doesn't work that way. If it did, that would be really weird. And I'm glad it doesn't work that way because time would mean nothing. So, anyways, with that being said, we're going to listen to uh, Julian and I was trying to think of the other person we are interviewing. I keep forgetting. I will. Oh, this. See, this is what happened last time. Last time I was like, oh, I even mentioned having an interview, and I was like, oh, I'm not even going to do that because something's going to happen. So it turns out if I even say that I'm going to have an interview, something's going to happen to where it doesn't happen. So I'm just going to say, just check out Retrieving Sanity on YouTube, Spotify, or anywhere else you could find your podcast. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Sean.